As far as we can discern, the sole purpose of human existence is to kindle a light of meaning in the darkness of mere being. Carl Jung. We look at iconic thinkers and visionaries like Carl Jung, Sigmund Freud, Leonardo da Vinci, Albert Einstein, William Shakespeare, or Nelson Mandela. It's easy to feel ... inadequate. Their lives seem to radiate meaning and brilliance. How could ours possibly measure up? But Jung believed that the purpose of life isn't about grand achievements or worldly success. It's about discovering who you are and living in alignment with that truth. To Jung, the essence of a person lies within the psyche, a complex web of conscious and unconscious aspects. At the center of our conscious awareness lies the ego, the I that we think we are. But far beyond the ego's boundaries exists the unconscious, and at its core lies the shadow, the hidden, often darker part of ourselves. According to Jung, this shadow holds the key to your purpose, because your life's meaning isn't some universal ideal. It's something deeply personal, buried within you. Carl Jung, the Swiss psychiatrist and psychoanalyst, broke away from Freud and pioneered his own path, analytical psychology, a school of thought now widely known as Jungian psychology. His influential works include the psychology of the unconscious, man and his symbols, the archetypes, and the collective unconscious. Modern Man in Search of a Soul, the psychology of the transference, memories, dreams, reflections, and the relations between the ego and the unconscious. In this video, we'll explore how Jung believed your shadow, your hidden self, can guide you to your life's true purpose. Get to know your darkness, Sean once said. Your visions will become clear only when you can look into your own heart. How looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakes. Each person's life holds a unique meaning, okay? But to uncover it, you must first know yourself. Not the version of yourself you present to the world, but the true, whole self that lies beneath. Most people believe they know themselves fairly well, their strengths, flaws, and desires. But real self-knowledge requires a much deeper process that Jung called self-realization. We are made up of both the conscious and the unconscious, the known and the hidden. The shadow is the unconscious part of us that contains the traits we suppress: anger, envy, laziness, shame, even passions, or interests we've cast aside out of guilt or fear. Because these traits are buried deep, we rarely notice them. Instead, we cling to our persona, the social mask we wear to be accepted. You may even wear different masks in different settings, but these masks are not who you truly are. Reconnecting with your shadow takes honest effort. This is the essence of shadow work, the act of observing and reflecting on your own emotions and behaviors. You can do this through journaling, meditation, or intentional self-reflection. Ask yourself, why did I act that way? Was that really me? What was my instinct in that moment? How would I feel if someone treated me that way? It's like investigating yourself from the outside, as if you were someone else. Importantly, acknowledging your shadow doesn't mean you become it. If you've discovered hidden anger, you're not doomed to be an angry person. The goal is recognition, not identification. Another way your shadow shows up is through judgment of others. The behaviors that most irritate you in others are often reflections of parts of yourself you've denied. This is what Jung called projection. If selfishness enrages you, it might be because you suppress your own selfish desires. If someone's impatience drives you crazy, ask if it mirrors your own hidden impatience. Each time you sit down to reflect, to journal, to question yourself, you pull unconscious traits into the light. And as you evolve, your shadow changes, too. That's why shadow work isn't a one-time practice. It's a lifelong journey towards self-awareness and meaning. Work on yourself, as Jung said. I don't aspire to be a good man. I aspire to be a whole man. After uncovering the darker parts of yourself, you might wonder, now what? In fact, learning the truth about your inner self might leave you feeling worse, exposed to flaws. You've spent years hiding junk. Understood this. He knew that true self-knowledge is often painful. Many people assume that suppressing negative traits makes them disappear. If you never show your anger, doesn't that mean you're gentle? If you fight your laziness, doesn't that make you disciplined? Well, yes and no. While striving to grow is good, ignoring parts of yourself only gives them more control. When repressed, these traits fester in the dark and explode under pressure. Someone who denies their anger might eventually lash out in a terrifying rage. Someone who ignores their exhaustion could suffer a complete burnout. Repression doesn't erase, it buries. Once you see your shadow, you can start to work with it. Don't eliminate your dark traits. Channel them. Anger isn't inherently evil. Okay. In the face of injustice, it can empower you to speak up. The question becomes, when is it appropriate to act on an emotion, and when is it wiser to hold back? Stop labeling emotions as good or bad, and start asking, how can I use this constructively? Envy might show you what you truly desire. Okay? Laziness might be your mind begging for rest. Impatience might motivate action in the right situation. Instead of pushing your shadow away, integrate it. Let it teach you. These traits are part of you, and they're not leaving. Only by accepting all sides of yourself can you grow. Wholeness, not perfection, leads to meaning. When your shadow becomes part of your conscious self, you become balanced, grounded, and authentic. Once you understand your shadow, you understand yourself. Okay? Once you know yourself, your life's purpose becomes clearer. Self-improvement is shadow work too, and it never really ends. Every step you take in becoming a better, fuller version of yourself brings more meaning to your existence. Take action, Jung wrote. You are what you do, not what you say you'll do. Once you know who you are, once you've come to terms with your shadow and discovered your beliefs, it's time to live them. Your purpose won't come from thinking, theorizing, or even understanding. It comes from doing. Jung believed that self-realization must manifest in action. Otherwise, it's just talk. Let your actions reflect your awareness. Let your life be the proof of your transformation. Because meaning is found not in who you hope to be, but in how you choose to live. After all, you can only truly claim to be a certain kind of person and to desire certain things if your actions reflect it. That's why living reactively isn't enough. Don't just respond to what life throws at you. Initiate something. Don't wait for friendships to happen. Reach out. Make the first move. Don't sit around hoping for a promotion. Build a plan and go after it. Don't wait for your life to suddenly feel meaningful. Create meaning through your actions. Most of us live reactively, okay? Even those actively working on their shadow and striving for self-growth. Shadow work is a powerful start. Just that, a start. If you stop there and lean back, thinking you've done the work, you'll find yourself stuck once again. This time in a more sophisticated kind of meaninglessness. So, how do you begin to live actively? Start by challenging yourself. Once you've begun exploring your inner world, you must also look outward toward the kind of life you want to build. Ask yourself questions like, what do I truly believe in? What are my spiritual, moral, or ethical principles? How do I act in daily life? What do I want to accomplish this year? In 5 years? How do I want to contribute to the world? What do I expect from others and from myself? Reflect on these questions. Journal about them. Meditate on them. Let them guide you toward action, because the answers point directly to where your energy should go. Let's say you dream of becoming a published author. Plenty of people do, but most never act on that desire. They wait for the perfect moment, the flash of inspiration, the free time. They imagine the book will write itself when the time is right. But they're still living reactively, hoping life will hand them the dream. An author who's serious about their goal writes regularly, whether they feel like it or not. They power through creative blocks by seeking help, reading, or practicing. So they finish what they start, not just through passion, but through discipline. And when the writing is done, They actively reach out to agents and publishers. Of course, not everyone's life purpose revolves around career goals. Maybe your meaning lies in uplifting others and helping the next generation grow stronger. That can take many forms: parenthood, teaching, youth counseling, charity work, public service. It's up to you to decide what that looks like and to act on it. When you understand your values, your task becomes clear. How can I live in a way that reflects those values? What action can I take to move closer to the life I envision? You can survive by living reactively, but you cannot find meaning that way. Meaning demands movement. It requires deliberate action. Embrace Carl Jung once said, "Where your fear is, there is your task." We don't avoid action because we're lazy or unmotivated. Most of the time, we're simply afraid. Fear is the quiet force keeping you from stepping forward. Taking action means taking risks, and risks are scary. If you want to write a book, you have to risk disappointing yourself with your own words. If you want it published, you must risk being rejected, maybe over and stacked over again. Every meaningful action carries a threat of failure, rejection, embarrassment, or loss. To take action is to be brave, but bravery doesn't mean fearlessness. Fear doesn't go away, okay? And repressing it, shoving it into your shadow, only gives it more power. Instead, acknowledge your fear. Ask yourself, why am I avoiding this? What am I really afraid of? What's the worst that could realistically happen? And if that happens, how would I handle it? Often, fear loses power through preparation. Don't confuse preparation with overthinking. Focus on what's likely, not on every wild scenario your anxious mind might invent. If you're aiming to publish a book, it's realistic to expect some rejections, maybe even a lot. So prepare for that. But don't waste energy imagining someone stealing your manuscript or mocking your work online. Those fears, while vivid, are not useful. Once you've prepared, it's only one thing left to do. Take the leap. Bravery is about action, despite fear, not the absence of it. Nobody who's ever done anything meaningful did it by running away from what scared them. Where your fear is, that's where your purpose lies. Your fear is pointing toward your next task. Accept the bad in our final quote from Jung. He said, "Even a happy life cannot be without a measure of darkness." And the word happy would lose its meaning if it were not balanced by sadness. So, you started doing the inner work. You're facing your shadow. You've begun taking bold action and pushing through fear. Does this mean you're guaranteed a perfect life? Absolutely not. Even the most inspiring, influential people in history faced overwhelming struggles. In fact, it's because they took great risks and dared to act that they encountered such hardship. And this is the truth. A meaningful life isn't one without pain. It's one that integrates both the pain and the joy, the victories and the losses. In fact, meaning is dependent on contrast. Happiness is only profound when you've tasted sorrow. Triumph is only sweet if defeat was possible. There can be no light without darkness. So when something bad happens, don't spiral into despair. Reframe it. Think, now, whatever good comes next will mean even more. Every setback, mistake, and heartbreak offers a lesson. Each one reveals something about who you are. They illuminate your shadow, refine your character, strengthen your will. No one realizes they need to be more grounded until life shows them the cost of being impulsive. No one discovers their resilience until life demands it. Maybe your manuscript gets rejected by every publisher. Maybe you leave your secure job to chase a dream and it falls apart. Yes, those moments hurt, but they also clarify what really matters to you. They show you what you're made of, and that is where meaning lies, not in the goal, but in the journey. Jung didn't believe that meaning comes from the outcome. You're not meaningful because you got published, or elected, or applauded. Your life has meaning because you tried. because you dared to act, because you chose growth over comfort, because you lived in alignment with who you truly are, and that alone, living authentically, courageously, and consciously, is the most meaningful thing you can do. Meaning isn't something you find once and keep forever. You must continually create it through reflection, through action, through failure and triumph alike. You will keep evolving. Your goals will shift. Life will offer joy and pain. But in the end, your story will be uniquely yours. A beautiful mix of struggle and hope, effort and transformation, reflection of everything you've dared to face. So, always take pride in what you've attempted, whether or not you succeeded. That's where your purpose is born. And finally, celebrate the good. Whatever you've achieved, however small, be proud of it. Whatever blessings you've received, be grateful for them. Because as long as you keep striving to be the most honest version of you, your life will have meaning. If you enjoyed this video, check out our full Philosophies for Life playlist. And for more content on finding success, fulfillment, and meaning through timeless wisdom, don't forget to subscribe. Thank you so much for watching.